I am
Good.
going to introduce you,
Thank you.
ladies. Are we on? We're on Facebook, aren't we?
Yes.
That's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and assembled company. Welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe virtual. Dawn sitting in the actual. And tonight we have stories for children from storyteller, singer songwriter, all round Renaissance man, Colin Urwin. Take it away, Colin.
Thank you very, very much indeed. I always like to start with a wee song, as you know, and this is my favourite. I tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair, they sew my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please would you tell me who is she? Albert Vinny says he loves her, all the boys are fighting for. Knock at the door and they ring at the bell, saying, oh my true love, are you well? Out she comes as white as snow, rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. Old Johnny Morrissey says she'll die, she doesn't get the fellow with the roving eye. Tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair, they stole my comb, that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please would you tell me who is she? Let the wind and the rain and the hail blow high, let the wind come travelling through the sky. She's as nice as apple pie, she'll get her own lad by and by. When she gets a lad of her own, she won't tell her ma when she goes home. Let them all come as they will, for it's Albert Gray she loves still. Tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair, they stole my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Please would you tell me who is she? My Aunt Jane, she called me in, she gave me tea out of her wee tin. Half a pop with sugar on the top, 3 big sweets out of her wee shop. I hope you were all dancing as well as Baba C was. You've still got it, Baba C. So my name's Colin Urwin, and I
As
come
long as
from.
I'm sitting down, I dance very well.
Oh, I saw you giving it all that there, Baba C.
But I missed one thing. I was waiting for your last note so I could do this.
Yeah, you get it the next time.
One of my favourites. Thank you, Colin. That was lovely.
Good, Roisin. Thank you. Lovely to see you. You're excused from dancing in your current condition. I'm going to tell you a wee story. I've been telling this a lot recently, and it's never the same 2 times in a row. But it's about a man called William. Well, everybody called him Well, and he was a poor man. He didn't have enough money to even buy himself a pair of shoes or boots, and he walked the countryside barefoot. Sometimes in the winter time he would have his feet wrapped up in rags to keep them from the cold. And he would walk the roads, and he would call at people's houses and farms, and he would work. Sometimes he would milk cows, sometimes he would help with the hay, sometimes he would pick the apples or gather the potatoes, whatever the farmers needed him to do. And then they would pay him, or they would give him something to eat, or give him a bed for the night in an old barn or byre. But never did he have enough money for a pair of shoes. And he used to dream at night about having a lovely pair of leather boots. But one day he was walking along the road, and he heard this strange noise. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. And then he heard singing. He heard a little voice, strange old voice singing. Oh, me name is Dick Darby, I'm a cobbler, and I serve me time at the old camp. Some say I'm an old agitator, but now I'm resolved to repent. Tap, 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 tap. Now, a cobbler was a person who made shoes. And when Will heard the tap, 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 and he heard that man singing, oh, my name is Dick Darby, I'm a cobbler, he thought, whoa. And he got closer and closer, and he crept through along the hedgerow, and he crept through, and he had a little peek through the hedge. And what he saw, he could hardly believe his eyes. There was a tiny little man, no more than 2 foot tall, this size. And he was sitting on a little stump of a tree, and he had a tiny little hammer, and he was making the most beautiful pair of red leather clogs you have ever seen. And Will watched them and watched them and thought, oh, I know what he is. He's one of the fairy people, a little leprechaun. And he'd always been told since he was a little boy, if he could catch the leprechaun, well, then the leprechaun would have to give him something. And everybody knows that the leprechauns in Ireland always have a pot of gold hidden, usually at the end of a rainbow. So Will sneaked up on the little leprechaun, and he grabbed him by the shirt. And the leprechaun started to flail his arms about and kick his legs. He, let me go, let me go, let me go. And Will said, oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Now, I've got the hold of you. I'm not letting you go until you make me a rich man. You don't believe that old story about leprechauns having pots of gold, do you? I suppose you were told that we keep them at the end of a rainbow. Were you? And Will said, yes, I was, and I know it's true. No, it's not true. Don't be silly, man. It's not true. It's an old wives' tale. I tell you what. Let me go, and I will give you these shoes that I'm making. These little boots. And Will looked at the little boots, and he said, I would hardly get my big toe into one of those boots. And the leprechaun said, ah, that's where you're wrong, my friend. Take those old rags off your feet and slip your big toe into this boot, and you'll find, because, my friend, these are magic boots, that your foot will slip in. It'll feel like a slipper. It'll feel as if you're walking on air. You're trying to trick me, said Will. I am not trying to trick you, said the leprechaun. Try one shoe on, and if it fits the way I'm telling you it will fit, well, then you can let me go, and I will give you these shoes. Well, Will kept a hold of the leprechaun, and he took the rags off one of his feet, and he slipped his big toe into the shoe, and it just began to open up, and his foot slid into the beautiful red leather boot, and oh, it felt wonderful. It was the first time he'd ever had shoes or boots on his feet, and they felt absolutely like his foot was covered in silk or satin, and when he stood up in it, it felt as if he was standing on air. I told you, said the leprechaun. I told you, didn't I? These are magic shoes. Now let me go and try the other one. And he wouldn't trust the leprechaun, so he took hold of him in his other hand. He took the rags off his feet, and he slipped his big toe in the other boot, and it was just the same. Now, said the leprechaun, I lilt the tune, and let's see if you can dance. And Will began to dance and dance and dance, and he didn't know he even could dance. Told you, said the leprechaun, these are magic boots. They'll make you the best dancer in Ireland. Every town and every village that you go to, the people will be throwing money at you to see you dancing. Really? I'm telling you, man. You just set your cap down on the ground and dance, and the people will flock to see you. Now let me go, and away with you. And so Will let the little leprechaun go. And he looked down at his feet, and he said, but how will I be able to dance? Well, all you have to do is lilt the tune yourself. And you'll dance. Easy. But let me tell you one thing. Never, ever, ever tell anyone where you got those shoes. For if you do, the magic will be gone. Oh yes, and never take them off. And by that, the little leprechaun disappeared. He was gone in a puff of smoke. And Will was left standing there at the side of the road with these beautiful new red leather boots. And he was so happy. And he began to lilt the tune. And he started to dance all along the road. And he danced and he danced and he danced and he danced and danced until he came to the next village. And the people seen him coming. And they thought, there's Will. Poor Will. He never has any money. But then, when he came into the village, they saw his shoes. Oh, well, where did you get the money to buy those beautiful, beautiful boots that you're wearing? No, never mind. Do you want to see me dance? Aye, surely we do. And he took his cap off, he threw it down on the ground, and they danced and he danced and he danced and he danced, and the people came from far and wide, and they began to throw coins into his cap. And when his cap was full of money, he picked it up, put it in his pockets, put the cap on his head, and away he went to the next village and the next town. And so on and on and on and on he went. And he got lots of money. But you see, because people had been so kind to Will, well, he was kind to them back, and he used to buy poor people food, clothes, and he travelled on his way. He'd never had money before, and, well, he didn't really know what to do with it. He was just so happy with his beautiful boots and his dancing. Well, one day he came into this town, and there was a man there. And the man had seen Will many, many times over the years, with his feet wrapped up in rags. And when he saw Will coming, he said, Will, tell me this. Where did you get the money to buy those boots? Ask no questions and you'll be told no lies, said Will. That sounds very suspicious to me, said the man. Now listen, tell me where you got the money to buy those boots. Well, I will not, that's my own business. Well, did you steal those boots? I did not steal them. Of course I didn't steal them. Well, then tell us where you got them. If you didn't steal them, you have nothing to hide. Tell us. You see, the man was actually jealous. He wanted Will's magic dancing boots for himself. And he went on and on and on. Tell us, Will. Tell us where you got the money to buy those boots. Did you steal them? I did not. You must have done. I didn't. I swear I never stole. Well, then tell us. And eventually, Well just said, stop asking me questions. I was given these shoes by a leprechaun, and it was out of him. The secret was out. And then he remembered what the little leprechaun had told him. Never, ever, ever, ever tell anyone where you got those boots or the magic will be gone. And immediately, the magic was gone. The boots started to shrink. And Will's feet began to hurt. And he pulled the boots off just in time, because the boots just went back down to the tiny, tiny little boots they had been that day that the leprechaun gave them to him. And when he was standing there with the boots in his hand, everybody began to laugh at poor Will. Well, you should have kept your mouth shut. You shouldn't have told him where you got those boots. And now there was no more dancing, no more music, no more money. And worst of all, Will had nothing for his feet. Well, he walked on with the rags wrapped all around his feet to the next village. And when he got to the village, the people asked him, "You're very sad, Will. Why are you so down?" Will began to tell the story about the shoes, the leprechaun, the dancing, and the people were enthralled. "Really? Is that a true story, Will?" "Yes," he said. "Please tell us it again. Tell us the story again, Will." And he told the story again and again and again, and the people began to pay him. And Will became a storyteller. And for the rest of his days, he walked from village to village, town to town, telling the people the story. And it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the people wanted to hear it over and over and over again. And before he knew it, Will had enough money to buy himself another pair of boots. This time, they weren't magic, but at least they kept his feet warm and dry. Well, Will got married. He had a family, and he kept those shoes, and he used to tell his children about them. And then he passed the shoes on to his son, and his son used to tell his children about them, and then his son told his children, and then his son told his children. And I was one of the children that heard that story from my father, because Will had been his grandfather. And the shoes had been passed down through the generations, father to son, father to son, father to son. And eventually those shoes came to me. Would you like to see them? Would you? All right. Here are the magic shoes, the beautiful little pair of magic boots that little leprechaun made all those years ago. And that's the story of the magic dancing shoes.
Colin, you could say that story was a shoe-in.
There's a bit of soul to that story, isn't there?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we've done all these already with Rushing, haven't we?
I was a heel for saying it.
At least you practiced. You didn't cobble it together.
Well,
ooh, I like that.
True.
And we didn't string it out.
No. And the lovely part about that story is that Will is not on his uppers anymore.
That was good. I was going to make a pun about tongue in cheeks, but shoes don't have cheeks.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Any cobbler can make a set of shoes that are made to last.
Now we're getting clever, you see. Norman Perrin, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Good to
I
see you,
felt,
man.
yeah, and hearing your voice and hearing the story, I know that there's an ocean or two between us, but right now I'm sitting in your room.
Excellent. Great to have you.
Charging rent.
Charging rent. I've got to tell you, I've got the basis for that story, and I hope she doesn't mind me telling it. From a lady called. Oh my goodness! I've just had brain freeze. I'm going to have to come back to you with the name of that lovely lady. I met her in Edinburgh there a couple of weeks ago. For goodness sake, it'll come back to me. I will remind you before I finish up. So I'm going to tell you another wee story or two, I hope, before I finish up. And I'm desperately now trying to think what I'll tell you. When I came on the Word Storytelling Cafe website, there's a picture of me doing that with a crowd of kids in front of me. And those kids were from the local primary school where I live here. And we were up the forest and just by the river. And I was telling them about the salmon that come up that river every year at the end of summer, and how they breed, and what happens to the little baby salmon, the eggs and the salmon and so on. And then that led me on to tell them this story. And it's the story, of course, of Finn McCool and the salmon of knowledge. You see, Finn McCool is a very famous hero in Irish storytelling. But when he was a little boy, his father, Cool, he wanted him to be a great man. He wanted him to be a great warrior, and he wanted him to be the wisest, most clever man in all of Ireland. And so he took him to the wisest, most clever scholar that he could think of. And his name was a man called Finnegas. And Finnegas was a poet and a great scholar, and he knew lots and lots and lots and lots of things, but he didn't know enough. He wanted to know even more. And so he heard about this story. He heard a story about this fish, a salmon that had come into this great pool. And this pool of water was surrounded by 9 trees, 9 hazelnut trees. And they were no ordinary hazelnut trees. No. It was said that if you ate the nuts from those hazelnut trees, well, they were full of knowledge. And this salmon swam round and round and round and waited until the nuts from those trees fell down into the water, and it gobbled up 9 hazelnuts from these trees of knowledge. And it was said that that salmon knew everything in the world. And anyone who could catch that salmon and eat of its flesh. Do you like fish? Do you ever eat fish? Do you ever eat fish fingers? Well, anyone who ate this fish, this salmon, just one taste, and they would know everything in the entire world. Well, Finnegas had fished for this salmon for 7 years. 7 years he sat by the side of that river with his fishing pole and a line and a hook and a berry on the hook, trying to catch that salmon, but he never had any luck. Well, anyway, Cool sent his son, Finn, to stay with the great poet, Finnegas. And there he was to learn all the knowledge that Finnegas possessed. But one day, as they were sitting by the side of the river and Finnegas was reciting poetry to Finn McCool, suddenly the salmon took the berry and the hook caught in its lip, and he pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled, and he pulled that huge salmon up onto the bank. And there it lay. After 7 long years, Finnegas couldn't believe his luck. And he said to young Finn, "Now, young Finn, I want you to cook this salmon for my supper. I am going to rest. I have been fishing here for 7 years. I am so tired. Cook this fish for me. When it's ready, come and wake me. But promise me one thing. Do not eat any of that fish yourself. It is only for me. Do you understand?" And Finn said, "Of course, master. Wake me when it's cooked." And Finnegas went into a deep, deep sleep. Well, Finn got the big salmon, and he made a fire, and he got the salmon onto a spit, a stick, and he turned it over and over and over and over until it was cooked perfectly, and its skin began to crackle and blister, and the smell of that beautiful cooking fish, his mouth began to water. But Finnegas had said, "Do not eat any of that fish. It is only for me." And when it was nearly ready, Finn was about to go and get Finnegas, but then he saw a big blister, a big bubble came up on the skin of the salmon. And he thought, well, that spoils the look of that fish. And he went to press it down with his thumb. And when he did, it burnt his thumb, and he went, "Ow!" And he stuck his thumb in his mouth to ease the burn. And when he did, he tasted the salmon. And immediately he tasted the salmon. All the knowledge of the world came into his head, and he could see everything, and he could understand everything. He knew all about the stars and the planets and the weather and the moons and the tides and mathematics and science, everything. All the languages in the world, everything. And he went to wake his master. And when he shook old Finnegas stretched. And he got up and he said, "Now I am going to eat the salmon of nut." And he looked at Finn McCool, the little boy, 10 years old, and he could see in his eyes that he knew everything in the world. And he said to Finn, "Did you eat of the salmon of knowledge?" And Finn said, "No, master. No, master, I promise you, I did not." "Well, how is it that you know everything?" I don't know everything. I don't know. "You do, Finn. How is it that you know?" And eventually, Finn told him about the blister in his thumb, and Finnegas realised that's how he had tasted the salmon and gained all this knowledge. And Finnegas told him, "Finn, I can teach you nothing more. You already know far more than I. You must go now into the world and be a great man." And that's what Finn McCool did. And very famously, he became the leader of the band of warrior poets called the Fianna. But that, boys and girls, is another story. I think it's nearly time we had another wee song. Will we do another wee song? Maybe do one last story? Aye, let's do another wee song. Okay. I've been singing this song a lot recently. I've been singing it since I was a wee boy. And no matter where I go in the world, I teach children this song and adults. And there's people singing this song all over the world now. And it's a simple wee folk song. Let's see if you can learn it before I finish. Sing the chorus first, will it? My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Oh, blow ye winds over the ocean. Oh, blow ye winds over the sea. Oh, blow ye winds over the ocean. And bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back. Oh, bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Bring back. Oh, bring back. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Hope you were singing along there. I know John Rowe has just returned from a trip to India. And I think we'll go to India for a wee story, will we? John was away in Singapore and India and other places as well. But I think India was the place you were there longest, John. I think, is that right? So I'm going to tell you a wee story from India, and it's about a little girl called Niharika, and Niharika lived in this tiny little village in the middle of the forest. And at one time, most of India, it's a huge country, most of India was covered in forest, and the people lived in the little villages, and they lived side by side with all the wonderful animals that you get in the forest in India. And the parents, the older people, the parents and the grandparents in the village, they always used to tell the children, now children, when you're in the forest, if a cobra goes past, a snake, a big poisonous snake, if a snake goes past, you must stand perfectly still. Do not move, because the snake cannot see you or smell you. All it can do is feel the vibrations of your feet and of your breathing. And if you stand perfectly still, it will just slither on past. But children, if you see a bear in the forest, a sloth bear, you must run and take your clothes off, take your scarf off, your piece of your sari, your slipper, anything, and throw it behind you, and the bear will stop to sniff it. And when it does, you'll be able to run home. And if you see an elephant, you must run like the wind. Zigzag, zigzag through the narrowest gaps in the trees that you can find. And they used to tell them all these things that you must do with all the animals. And the children would always ask at the end, but grandmother or grandfather, what should we do if we meet a tiger? And they would always tell them the same thing. If you see a tiger in the forest, you must put your hands together, children, and bow and say, Namaste. And that's what they told the children. Now, every now and again, old tigers whose teeth were falling out and who had become thin, tired, and couldn't hunt the big forest deer anymore, they would come around the villages. The people called them man-eaters. Well, they called them man-eaters, but in truth, they used to eat old women, sometimes little boys, sometimes little girls. And the people always were in great fear of these old man-eating tigers. Well, one day in the village that Naharika lived in, an old woman was out in the woods, out in the forest, and she was collecting firewood to cook her food over. And when she was out in the forest, she was attacked by one of these man-eating tigers, and she screamed. And the people in the village heard her, and they came running with sticks and firebrands, sticks that they had taken from the fire, and they waved them around, and the sparks and the flames and the fire, and they screamed and they shouted, and the tiger ran off into the forest. The old woman, she was fine. She was scraped, and bruised, and frightened, but she was fine. And that night, all the men of the village, the old men, the wise men, they gathered together in the big hut in the village. "What will we do about this man-eating tiger?" said one. And one of the old men said, We must kill it. Kill it, but how will we kill it? And another one said, we must trap it. We will dig a big pit and we will trap it in a pit. But what will we do if we trap it? And then another one said, we must poison it. And someone else said, well, what will we poison it with? And then someone else said, we will pray to Lord Shiva. Now, all the children in the village, they were standing outside with their ears to the wall of the hut, and they were listening to what all the old men were saying. And one of them was Naharika. She was 10 years old. And she said, I know what we should do. And all the boys looked at her and said, what? And she said, I know what we should do with the man-eating tiger. What would you know about a tiger? What would a girl know anything about a man-eating tiger? And Naharika said, we should feed it. Feed the tiger? Yeah, and they began to tease her about being a silly girl, and they were laughing, and the old men heard them, and they came out. What's all this noise about? Why are you children not in your own homes sleeping? We are in trying to decide what to do with this man-eating tiger, and you children are laughing and making noise and disturbing us. Get home. What is all this about anyway? And one little boy, he said, Naharika says we should feed the tiger. And everyone began to snigger and laugh. And the wisest old man, he said to Naharika, Naharika, do not be a foolish little girl. Of course we will not feed a man-eating tiger. If we feed a man-eating tiger, it will come back again and again and again, and eventually it will bite the hand that feeds it. Now go home and go to bed, you foolish little girl. And all the children went home. And they went to bed. And they slept. Well, all except Naharika. She could not sleep. She tossed and she turned all night, dreaming and thinking and worrying about the man-eating tiger. What if it ate one of her little sisters? or brothers, or her mother, or her grandmother, or her grandfather. And before dawn, she got up and she took an old sack and she went round all the huts in the village. And she gathered up all the food that was left over from the meals the night before. All the bones and the handfuls of rice and bits of bread, everything. And she took the sack out into the forest. And she sat down on a log with her back to a tree, because she'd always been told if a tiger is hunting you, it will creep up from behind. So she sat there with a big bag of food, and she watched, and she saw monkeys up in the trees and peacocks in the forest, and she saw a little herd of deer going past. But then, she got very tired because she hadn't slept well, and her head began to go down, and eventually she nodded off to sleep. But then suddenly she woke up and she looked this way and that. She could hear the chatter of the monkeys and the call of the peafowl and the deer with their calls. Oh! Oh! And then she saw the two big amber eyes through the grass, and she knew it was a tiger. Well, most people would have been petrified, unable to move. Some people would have ran. But Naharika, she stood up and she said, I see you, tiger. You cannot creep up on me. The tiger stood up in the grass, and it began slowly to come towards her. And she said, Tiger, you're a man-eating tiger. The people in the village are talking about you. They are going to kill you. But it does not have to be this way. The tiger stopped and said, I was once the lord of this forest. All the animals feared me. Now they do not. Why have you come to mock me, little girl? I have not come to mock you, said Naharika. I have come to help you. Help me. How can you help me? I brought you food, she said. And she poured the sack full of food out onto the forest floor, and the tiger leapt towards her, and it devoured all of that food. And then it looked up at her and it said, now, little girl, I must eat you. No, said Naharika, you must not eat me. It does not have to be this way. It has always been this way, said the tiger. No, said Naharika. Spare me. Spare me, and I promise you that I will bring you food every day from this day onwards. And the tiger began to think. Every day? Yes, every morning. I will come here every morning and I will bring you food. And will the other people in the village, will they agree to this? I will make them agree. And how will you do this, little girl? I will tell them. I will tell them what we have agreed. Very well, said the tiger. And so the tiger began to turn away. Bring me food tomorrow. If you do not, bring me food tomorrow. And Naharika remembered something, and she said, I will need proof. I will need some proof, or the people will not believe me. Proof? Well, is my word not good enough, said the tiger. It's good enough for me, said Naharika, but I will need some proof. How can I give you any proof? I know I know, said Naharika. If you are not going to be a man-eater or a hunter anymore, you will not need your teeth. Give them to me. I will keep them. If ever you need them back, I will give them to you, but give me your teeth, and that will be all the proof I need. And the tiger opened its gigantic jaws, its huge red mouth, and there it only had 2 teeth left. And Naharika put her hand inside the tiger's mouth. And in truth, the teeth were already very shaky, and she plucked the teeth from the tiger's mouth, and she said, I will show these to the old men of the village, then they will believe. Well, just at that time, Naharika's mother and father woke up, and they saw that Naharika's bed was empty. Where had she gone? She's gone out into the forest. The man-eater will get her. And they raised the alarm, and everybody began to shout and run from their huts, and they stirred up the fires, and they took sticks, and they screamed and they shouted, and they ran into the forest, and the tiger ran away. And Naharika was left standing there on her own. And her father came and hugged her and kissed her and hugged her. And Naharika, why? What are you doing in the forest? The man-eater could have eaten you. And then another man found its footprints in the sand. The tiger has been here. Oh, Naharika, you could have been eaten. No, father. No, father. I was feeding the tiger. I am going to feed the tiger every day from now on. He has promised never to harm anyone in the village. And then the old man, the old wise man from the evening before said, Naharika, you are a bold girl to make up such a story. And she said, I have not made this story up. It is true. And she opened her hand and she showed the old man the 2 teeth from the tiger's mouth. And then everyone believed her. And when I was in India last year, I met Naharika. She's an old woman now. And since that time, she has been telling everyone that story. And she tells all the children all the time, over and over again, the story about the toothless tiger. And they always, at the end, they always say, we don't believe your story, Naharika. And then she shows them the teeth. And then they believe. And when I was talking to Naharika, she said, why, when you go back to Ireland, why don't you tell the children in your country my story? And I said, Naharika, they would not believe me. Well, then you must take one of the teeth, she said, to prove to the children that the story is true. And she gave me one of the tiger's teeth. And so when I tell that story and the children don't believe me, I always show them the tooth that Naharika gave to me in India. Thank you very much.
That story was a mouthful.
Colin, what a fantastic set.
Thank you.
And I can believe in that extraordinary story, anything in that extraordinary country.
Mm. You didn't get that? You didn't get a chance to see a tiger, John? No.
I was hardly out of the city. I was working every day. I went to schools every day.
Was it Chennai?
Yeah, Chennai.
Oh, fabulous.
Excellent. So what have we got? I mean, a huge round of applause for Colin, because that was a both magnificent set. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My great pleasure. I have been very remiss.
Louis still with us, but I know Louis will want you back. And Louis is, of course, the king. And if he wants you back, you don't really have a choice.
No.
What have we got coming up? Well, we might even see Louis tomorrow morning, because tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock UK and Irish time, we have our young international tellers, and we're bound to have tellers from Korea, probably Gaza, probably India, and I'm hoping some from Italy this time, and from Romania, and we might have multiple languages tomorrow.
Excellent.
I'm quite excited about that. Next Friday is Despina Audio from Greece.
John, could I just say something on the on the young tellers for tomorrow?
Of course you can.
We've actually solved the problem of being limited to 100 in the room. So if we get it, last month we
maxed it
we
out.
broke the internet, didn't we? But we won't have that problem tomorrow because we've upgraded our Zoom account.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't have to ask everyone who's being an audience to go on to Facebook or anything. Thank you for that, Mike. That is quite an important announcement.
Yes.
And also, I mean, magnificent that it was the children that have broken the internet, in terms of for the first time in the 5 years of running this, we had over 100 people on last Saturday. So they're not last Saturday, the last Young International Tellers. So we're really pleased with that. And the others, we've got I've got to work out how to add names to it, and if people send, but now we're working with teachers, they can send me the names people are told. But Miha is a librarian in Romania, in Arad, the town Georgiana comes from, has done a certificate of participation for the young tellers. So if they tell on because a lot of people, especially in a lot of other countries, like a certificate. So there's one being designed which says they participate in the program, which I think is rather nice for the young tellers.
Excellent. Can I say something, John? I'm coming to Marrakesh in a couple of weeks' time with my wife and my daughter and my son-in-law and my two granddaughters. It's one of them is going to be 18, so we're only there for 2 or 3 days. But I would love to bring them to the World Storytelling Cafe.
What are you?
Well, I know a man who's got some nice accommodation.
Yeah, no. What are your dates, Colin? We see if we can accommodate you.
No. Listen, we're grand. I'm coming again in a couple of weeks after that with Maria Gillen, Mike. But this is it.
Well, the Maria's already in the diary. But just let me see if we can help you with the family.
No. Honestly, we're good. I all I did was say yes, I'll go. They've booked everything, and I didn't want to give you any trouble or and they've booked everything. All I'm doing is turning up at the airport, and I will be going to Marrakesh for 3 or 4 days. So just to give them a wee taster.
Well,
but while I'm there, I'll go to the World Storytelling Cafe, take a couple of books, and maybe do a wee story or two if there's anybody around.
Brilliant.
Speaking of the World Storytelling Cafe, we've had some actual live people in the cafe. So thank you for attending. Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Yes, Dawn. Dawn is replaced. Seems to have replaced Evita. So Evita's sitting in Switzerland now, is it?
Evita is wherever Evita is.
Yes. So
Evita land.
Good luck to Switzerland. You now manifested yourself as Dawn in Marrakesh.
But Dawn had company a little earlier.
Yeah, you had a lot of company, Dawn.
Yeah.
Okay, right. We'll let everyone get on, but 10 o'clock tomorrow UK time.
AM.
AM, that is AM. Yes, of course.
I'm gonna be there.
I hope to see you there.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much,
young
Colin.
All right,
Thanks,
Mike.
Colin.
Good to see you all again. See you soon, Mike. I don't know if you'll be in Marrakesh when I'm there, but I'll
Drop me
check.
a line.
I'll
I'd
drop.
love to see you, and thanks for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, bye bye.
Thanks, Colin.
Thank you. Bye bye.
We should be there about the 12th till the 21st, I think.
See, now I want to go. I want to go to Marrakesh. Excuse me.
Well, maybe who shall not be mentioned will give you a grant to get rid of you out of the country for a few
Yeah,
weeks.
that would be it, to get me out of the country. Wouldn't let me back in.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
Well, I can't
obviously.
do it in the children's program, but James Baldwin had he said what he hung up when he what he took down from when he left the country, and he hung them back up again when he went back inside. But anyway, less of that, John.
Hey, Colin. Sorry, John.
Quoting writers.
Hi, Rona. I can hear your lovely voice.
It was great to see and hear you again. And I'm hoping to be in Marrakesh 17th to 24th of March. I've just to confirm that tomorrow.
I've never been jealous or envious of anybody, but you guys, it's like you guys go to
hopefully
Marrakesh.
we'll cross paths at some point.
I'll check the dates there, Rona. I'll drop you a line. Hopefully, our paths will cross in Marrakesh.
Fantastic. It'll be great to see you and Carol as well. And the kids. Okay. Take care. Lots of love.
Anyone would think
everybody.
that Marrakesh is becoming a centre of storytelling?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's that Mike man's fault. And his wife.
To the people who are talking about having fish fingers, fish don't have fingers, and I'm thin-ish with that.
That was not one of your best puns, Babasi, I have to say.
I know, but that's
why
I did it. I liked it because
it was
so
not.
bad.
It was not your best. You've done some amazing ones, but that I'd say that is not in the top 10.
Where are you, Lucy? Are you in the same room as Mike?
I'm in the same house, but in a different room.
You're Zoom user.
I'm Zoom user. I've been trying to change my name to Lucy, but I can't figure out how to do it on this phone. So
I take it you've run out of oil, Mike.
Oil?
Oh, that's a very big coat you've got on it in your house.
Oh no, we don't waste money. We've got a lot of storytellers to feed.
Tell him that coat's not very nice, please, because I hate that coat, and I'd like him to donate it to a charity shop.
I think we're going back to the shoe puns here. You better tread carefully.
Okay.
Oh dear. We've stood in a landmine there. We're into a family row now over this coat.
Yeah.
Colin,
yeah.
I really appreciated your storytelling.
Time to make cracks.
Thanks a lot. Lovely to see you again.
Thank you.
All right.
Wally,
we forgot to thank Wally. Thank you. You're doing it.
Well, I was just saying thank you, Wally. Shukran.
Thank you.
Happy
Wally.
Iftar.
Wally, Babasi needs a magic carpet to Marrakesh if you can organise that, Wally.
I tell everybody I have two homes, Washington, D.C. and Marrakesh, Morocco. And I'm missing home.
Yeah.
Home is missing you.
Yeah.
Aww.
I'll send you a postcard. All right. Bye.
Everyone take care. Stay bright.
Thanks again, Colin.
Stay
That's been a great night. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
It's been one of those nights. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Norman as well. See you.
Bye.
Take care.